Hello students, welcome to engineering geology classes. In today's class we will discuss about the tunnel. So you might have seen the tunnels which are constructed for various purposes like railway tunnel, road tunnel, then hydropower tunnels, right? So what is exactly a tunnel and how it is constructed, where it is constructed, we'll discuss today. So tunnel, how you will define it as? It may be defined as the underground route or a passage which is excavated through the rocks or the soft ground without disturbing the overlying rocks or the soil. That is called as the tunnel. So how it is constructed? In the image you can see there are various tunnels, right? This is a tunnel, then all are tunnels here, and how they are constructed without disturbing the top portion, right? So that is the definition of a tunnel. It is an underground route. It is an underground route or a passage which is excavated through the rocks or even the soft ground without disturbing the overlying rocks or the soil cover. So such underground passage may require for passing of roads, railways, traffic, okay, or even for carrying water or sewage, then petroleum, gas, etc. The tunnels are constructed. So where these are constructed? When two places are separated by an obstacle. The obstacle may be a hill or a water body, right? So here are the different tunnels you can see. Underwater tunnels are there, okay. Then under the hill, okay, the excavation is done and the tunnels are constructed. Let us understand some terminologies related to the tunnel. Then you can call it as a parts of tunnel. Okay, so the first one here in the cross section you can see there are transportation tunnel which are used for transportation. Okay, one is circular, one is horseshoe type. In the image you can see this is a horseshoe type, okay, tunnel. Then there are tunnels which are circular also, okay. Let us discuss what are the parts of the tunnel. So the first one is the crown or the roof of the tunnel. So this is the roof, or it is called as crown or roof of the tunnel. So it is the crust of the tunnel that is known as the crown or roof, okay, that is the crest. The crest of the tunnel is called as the roof or crown of the tunnel. So this part of the tunnel requires timber or a steel reinforcement in the wherever there are weak zones or fractured zones, you have to provide the lining for the roof. Then next is arc. Arc is what? The curved part on both the side of the tunnel, that is known as the arc. So this is the curved part on both the side of the tunnel, that is called as the arc of the tunnel. So this is the arc of the tunnel. So the tensile strength is maximum at this arc of the tunnel because it is under stress. Then next is walls. So these are the walls which are vertical. So these are all the walls of the tunnel which are vertical. Okay, so vertical segment of the tunnel which connects the floor and the crown, that is known as the wall of the tunnel, that is the side of the tunnel. Then the next is floor. Floor is the ground or the bottom, okay, that is the floor of the tunnel. So the base of the tunnel which is flat and on which the traffic or the fluid that moves along with the continuous contact, that is called as the floor, or it is also called as invert. Okay, the other word for floor is invert. So the strength of the floor is controlled by the nature of underlying rocks. Okay, so then there is a drift. Drift means a horizontal excavation that is made, that is called as the drift. So this portion is excavated horizontally. So excavation in multiple drift, it is done here in this. So drift is what? The horizontal excavation. Then heading means the excavated face of the tunnel, that is this one. The excavated face of the tunnel, that is called as the heading. So these are the different parts of the tunnel. Then there is one more called station, or station means the distance which is measured from the portal is what? The tunnel entrance, okay, or the area near the tunnel, that is called as the portal, or portal of the tunnel, okay, means the entrance of the tunnel. Then here there is one spring line. What is that spring line? Spring line is the line at which the tunnel wall breaks from sloping outward to sloping inward towards the crown of the tunnel. So that line is called as the spring line. Okay, so these are the different parts of the tunnel. Then what are the applications of tunnel? Tunnel is used for various purposes like transportation of materials, goods, vehicles. Okay, then it is also used for carrying the water for power generation. Then they are also used for oil, sewage and gas transportation from one place to other place. Okay, so these are the some of the applications or advantages of tunnel. So these tunnel, they provide rapid transportation in big cities, and they avoid holding of traffic, okay, for a longer period. So because of the construction of tunnel. So in India there is a world's largest tunnel which was opened recently, that is the Atal tunnel, right? So it has made the distance less, okay, because it will provide the shortest route, okay, and it provides the free movement of the traffic throughout the year. So these are all the advantages. Along with this, there are some disadvantages also, because they are costlier in construction as compared to the open cut whatever roads we have, right? Because we are excavating the ground without disturbing the top, right? The construction of the tunnel needs special equipments and methods. Then if it requires the skilled labor, okay, and strict supervision for while constructing of the tunnel is necessary. Then they cause suffocation if you are not constructed them properly, or if you not provide proper ventilation, then there will be a problem of suffocation. So if you travel through Konkan railway also, you can come across many number of tunnels. When you go to Dudhsagar, there are tunnels, right? So tunnels are constructed without disturbing the overlying rocks, okay. So then there are different types of tunnels, like based on the purpose for what they are used. One is traffic tunnel, okay. So the longest tunnel, the railway tunnel, that is in Japan, that is called as Seikan tunnel, that is of Japan, okay. It is the longest submarine tunnel. Submarine railway tunnel means it is constructed under ocean, and it is a railway tunnel which is 53.85 kilometer long, that is in Japan. Then in India there is one more tunnel called Jawahar tunnel, which is in India, that is in Delhi. It is around 2.4 kilometers, okay. That is old double tube highway tunnel, okay, highway tunnel. So these are some important tunnel example. Then traffic tunnels. Then one more type of tunnel is hydropower tunnel. So these tunnels which are excavated through the rocks for the purpose of what? Conveying the water from one point to other point in connection with the generation of hydropower, Okay, that is called as the hydropower tunnel. Then there are public utility tunnels also, like the small tunnels which are excavated for public use, such as for carrying sewage, carrying cables, oil supplies, drinking water, etc. They are classified under the public utility tunnel. So if you talk geologically, there are two types of tunnels: tunnels constructed in hard rock, or tunnels driven through the rocks, that is a rock tunnel. And one more type is tunnel which is driven through the soil or the loose sediments, or it is called as soft ground tunneling. So we'll discuss the geologically important types of tunnels, that is rock tunnel and soft ground tunnel. So if you get a chance in working with the tunnel site, then you have to take care, you have to study all these parameters which we are going to discuss now. So we'll start with the tunnels in the rock. Okay, rock tunnels driven through the rock, they are called as rock tunnel. So this group includes hard rock, right, because the name itself tells you it is a rock tunnel. So it is constructed in rocks. So rocks may be igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, or the metamorphic rocks. So most of the tunnels in mountain region, they are driven through these rocks. So there are different lithological characters you will come across, right? Geological structures, groundwater conditions, all these factors will affect the construction of the tunnel. So the design and cost of the tunnel, it depends upon the type of the rock, but it also depends upon the structure which is developed in these rocks. So if the rocks are highly jointed, folded, faulted, all these type of rocks you will come across during the construction of the tunnel. So we'll see the different cases. So first we'll see how the tunnel is constructed in horizontal rocks, tunneling in horizontal rocks. So here there are two cases, you can see the two images. So in the first image, the rocks are thick. Okay, the beds of the rocks, the horizontal beds, they are thick, and whereas here the beds are very thin, the beds are smaller or thin beds, and these are the thick beds. So how, which is safe, which is unsafe, and how you can utilize that site? Okay, so first case, that is the horizontal beds. Such situation is very rare in the occurrence for longer tunnel, for long distance. Such horizontal rocks are very rare. So these rocks, they consider a favorable for small type of tunnel. Okay, for smaller distance. Okay, so in massive horizontal layer rocks, when the individual layer is very thick, the tunnel diameter is not very large. In such situation, this type of thickly bedded rock is beneficial, because these layers, that layer itself act as a bridge. Okay, or it acts as a support. It provides a very good support, because the layers with the over bridge flat excavation by by acting the natural beam. So these rocks, because they are thick, they act as a natural beam, and that is why it is safe. But when these rocks are very thin layer rocks are present, then, or if there are fractures present in the rock, they cannot be dependent on the rocks as a natural beam. You cannot depend on that it will act as a natural beam, because the layers are very thin, right? So in such cases, either you have to modify the roof into an arc type, or that has protected by providing lining. So you have to provide lining, and sides of the tunnel in the horizontal bedded rocks may even be left unsupported, except when the sheared or jointed rocks are present in the tunnel site. So here you have to modify the arc shape, okay, pointed you have to make it. So in horizontal thin beds, okay, the pointed arc is necessary and the sides are safe, whereas here in the horizontal beds it is safe even with the flat arc, okay. So that is the difference when the beds are horizontal and when they are thick and thin bedded, okay. Then we'll move on to the next case, that is when the rocks are moderately inclined. So when the rocks are moderately inclined, how we should go for a tunnel? So here there are three cases wherein you can see in the first image the beds are dipping like this, in the second image the beds are dipping like this, and in the third image they are dipping like this, okay. So these are the three cases which you will come across in case of inclined beds. So here the axis of the tunnel, okay, that plays a very important role. So tunnel axis may be running parallel to the dip direction or parallel to the strike direction of the bed. So in the first image you can see this is a tunnel, okay. These are all the tunnels which are constructed in such rocks. So in the first case, how the beds are? The bed, they strike across the tunnel excavation. So this is the dip of the bed and this is the strike of the bed. So this tunnel is parallel to the strike of the bed. So this bed strike, the tunnel is across the strike. This is the strike and your tunnel is running like this. So it is across the strike of the tunnel, strike of the beds. So this provide a uniform distribution condition for load from the top. So the arc action, that is where the rock at the roof, they act as a natural arc and they transfer the load on the sides. So even a relatively weak rock, they may thus be rendered because the rocks are moderately inclined and it is favorable condition. But one problem is you will come across a variety of rocks. They are to be encountered while cutting through the rock sequence across the strike. So that is the first case wherein the tunnel is across the strike of the beds. In the second case, how is the tunnel? See, this is the dip direction and this is the strike of the bed, okay. So this tunnel is running parallel to the strike of the bed. You can see this tunnel is running parallel to the strike of the bed. So the pressure distribution due to bedding plane is unsymmetric. You can see hardly one or two beds are intersecting the tunnel, right? This is a tunnel and here only two bedding planes are intersecting the tunnel, whereas here it was not so. Here all the bedding planes were coming across the tunnel. So here the pressure distribution is unsymmetrical along the periphery of the tunnel. Along the periphery, here you will come across a bedding plane, here you will come across a bed, okay. So this is unsymmetric pressure distribution. So one half will have the bedding plane opening into the tunnel and thus it is a potential threat for sliding of the rocks. So the bridge action, that also gets weakened because of this reason. So this is not safe, that is unfavorable. Tunnel parallel to strike of the bed. Then here, how is the bed? This is the bed dip direction and this is the strike of the bed. So here the tunnel is going neither parallel to the strike nor parallel to the dip of the bed. So tunnel is inclined to both the dip and strike of the bed. So in the third case, when the tunnel is inclined to both the dip and strike direction, it is a complicated situation which requires a detailed analysis. So in such cases, the construction of strong strutted side walls is very much essential, and you have to provide secured roofs for the tunnel. So these are the essential features when the tunnel is neither parallel to the strike nor parallel to the dip of the rocks. So these are the different cases. So here, if the rocks are steeply inclined, this is the first in these three cases are when the rocks are moderately dipping. The dip angle is up to 45 degree. But here the dip is more than 45 degree. The last image wherein you can see the dip is more than 45 degree. This angle is more than 45 degree. So if you come across such situation, they are the steeply inclined beds. Okay. So the tunnel parallel to the strike, here this is the tunnel which is running parallel to the strike of the bed. So these also offer a combination of situation. Some are favorable, some are unfavorable. So when the dip is extremely steep, that is 90 degree, as in the next image you can see here, the angle is more than 45 degree. They are almost vertical, right? So the same shown in the enlarged section. This is the rock, okay, and this is the tunnel. So here the rock is almost vertical, 90 degree, that is the across the strike the tunnel is running, and it will look like being overlain by girders of rocks, and that are continuous on sides also. So this is a highly favorable condition. Whereas if the tunnel is running parallel to the strike, like in this image, okay, you can see the tunnel is running parallel to the strike of the vertical bed, then it is more likely that the number of bedding planes, which are the planes of weakness, they are intersected at the roof and along the arc also. So you have to take the proper precautionary measures. So this site is weaker, okay, and the pressure from left side is high, right? You can see here the pressure distribution is again uneven. So these are unfavorable, whereas this is the next situation wherein it is almost vertical 90 degree. This is a safe situation for construction of the tunnel. Then we'll see the next, that is tunnel in folded rock. So you know the fold is what? The undulations which are developed in the rocks. So the folds, they signify the bends and the curvature which are there in the rock layers. So their influence on the design and the construction of the tunnel, that is very important from the different three angles you have to consider here. The first one is what? The folding of the rock, it introduces considerable variation and uncertainty in the sequence of the rock. So as the rocks are folded, okay, so if the rocks are folded like this, okay, this type of folded rocks, you may come across the different type of rock when you go for construction. So you will come across unexpected rock may be encountered along the any given direction because they are folded. So if this situation becomes serious, then the folding is not recognized properly in the survey due to either it's being very localized or due to misinterpretation. If you miss it, then you have to face the problems during the construction of the tunnel. Then the one more point you have to take into account for folded rock is they are under considerable strain. Because of that folded structure, the pressure is acted on the rock, and because of that the rocks are folded. So such folded rocks, they are under considerable strain. So they rock, they absorb the energy during the bending, and this stored energy, when you disturb while constructing the tunnel, it may be released by fracturing or natural or artificial processes. So when you go for construction by natural or artificial process, so the stored energy that gets released, and again it will damage the site. So when the excavations are made in folded rock, the strained rock that releases the stored energy, and this results into rock burst or rock fall. The building of sides or roof of the tunnel, that during that when you construct the roof or sides, there are chances of rock burst if the rocks are folded. So such complications could be overcome successfully if you properly recognize the structure which is there at the site. So one more point is, the folded rocks, they introduce a rock pressure, and they often the groundwater pressure conditions also you have to take into account. So there are two types of folds you have to consider, that is anticline fold and syncline fold. These are the major type of folds which you will come across. So in anticline fold, if the rocks are if you want to construct a tunnel, then the load of the rock at the crest, they are transferred by a arc action to a greater extent onto its limb. So here you can see this is a folded rock, okay, and how the tunnel is running. Tunnel is running along the fold axis. So what is a fold axis? The line of maximum curvature in the folded rock, that is called as the fold axis. So this tunnel is running parallel to the fold axis. So here this becomes unfavorable. Why? Because the strain distribution is varied, okay. So the crest, at the crest the rocks are weak. The load of the rock at the crest, they are transferred by the arc action to a greater extent on its limbs. So the more pressure is on the limbs, okay, which are highly strained compared to the crest of the tunnel or the fold. So the central core region, that is under smaller pressure if you talk about this. So pressure distribution is unequal here. So this type of tunnel is unfavorable. Then on the other hand, the tunnel that are cut along the axis of inclined, okay, at a anticline, that is safer because so here there is mistake, okay, it is not, it is favorable. If you see here, it is like a natural arc action, whereas here if you see, that is the tunnel which is running across the fold axis, and this is the along the fold axis. So here for this tunnel, this is the fold axis. So here this tunnel is running across the fold axis, and this is running parallel to the fold axis. So if you compare these two, which is unfavorable? Here in this, the pressure distribution is unfavorable. You will come across number of bedding planes, you will come across, and here on the limbs the pressure is high, and at the central portion there is a low pressure area. So here if you construct a tunnel, the pressure distribution is uneven. So this is unfavorable, okay, and this is favorable because this act as a natural arc, okay. So that is favorable. Then in case of the tunnel which is in syncline fold. Syncline is like a basin. Okay, so here again two cases. Tunnel, this is the fold axis, right? So here this is the fold axis and the tunnel is running along the fold axis, and this is across the fold axis. So here again the same situation, the pressure distribution is uneven, right? So the tunnel across the axis of the syncline and tunnel along the axis of the syncline. So if the water bearing strata are meet with the water, trouble will be minimum in case of anticline fold, because in anticline fold what happens, the water moves through these limbs away from the main tunnel which is at the center. So that water percolation problem will be less in case of anticline fold. So if it is along the syncline, what happens? The tunnel that suffer heavy rock fall because of the syncline nature of the rocks. So if the beds are water bearing, then water it will directly rush into the tunnel. You can see here. Yes, so here what happens? The water, if it is percolating along the bedding planes, what happens? It will rush into the tunnel. Whereas in anticline fold, you can see here, in case of anticline, this is favorable, because if there is a water percolation, then water will move away along the bedding plane. It will not come into the tunnel. So here this is favorable, whereas in case of syncline, it is this is unfavorable. Okay, so if the beds are water bearing, the water directly flows into the tunnel, and that will cause a great difficulty. Because of this reason, the tunnel in the syncline along or across the fold axis, both are unfavorable. So here in syncline folds, both are unfavorable, whereas in anticline fold, this is unfavorable and this is a favorable situation. Then next is the tunnel in fault zone. So usually the faulted rocks are again under considerable stress and strain. So here a fault inclined in tunnel, that makes a highly unfavorable condition. So here there is a fault. You can see the image, this rocks have moved up and this rock has moved down. You can see the continuation of the strata. So this was earlier here, but it has moved up. So here it is the faulted zone. So what happens if the rocks are faulted? So during fault, what happens? The movement of the rocks takes place. So you will come across a different type of rock. Here is a different rock. In front of that there is a different rock. So you may come across a different nature to lie in contrast with each other. So again, the fault zone and the shear zones, they are highly permeable zones. So water will percolate through these cracks. Okay, so they are likely to ease or it will allow the water to rush into the tunnel. So inclined fault plane and shear zones over the roof of the tunnel, they are very dangerous, or even along the sides they introduce additional complications in the rock. Okay, it will create rock pressure. So it is general conclusion that whenever the tunnel is intersected by a fault plane or a shear zone, it is straight away rejected. The site should be rejected, because there will be again chances of sliding of the rocks when you are using that tunnel for a traffic or anything. Then again more pressure will be developed on the rock. So this faulted zone is avoided. Then if there are jointed rocks also, they must be avoided again because there are cracks. So joints, they help you during excavation of the tunnel because they are cracks, the rocks are weak, you can excavate easily. But on the other hand, they create difficulties because if the rocks are jointed, it will undergo weathering. The water bearing rock, if you encounter, because if the rocks are jointed, water will percolate through these joints, and if you come across such rocks, the groundwater seepage may occur into the tunnel, and the jointed rocks also can be dangerous. But if the joints are minor, then you can treat those joints, you can go for grouting, and if you provide a proper lining, so such problems created by jointing of the rocks can be rectified by the grouting or sealing of those joints. So these are the different cases which you will come across during the construction of tunnel in hard rock. Then if you construct a tunnel in unconsolidated or loose soil, so the tunneling in unconsolidated or loose sediments, that again leads to complications because the strength is not there in the rock, it is loose. So the structural weakness of the sediments that which forms the ground, then there is a low cohesion and internal friction of the particles of the ground, then there is a uncertainty of the groundwater conditions also. So you have to do proper investigation, geological investigation is required when you go for tunneling in soft ground. Like you have to prepare the geological profile along the center line of the tunnel, proposed tunnel. Then you have to study the lithological composition, that is the rock composition, the loose sediments whatever you are coming across, you have to study the composition of that and how they are formed, what is the mode of origin of the sediments. That will help you to take proper precautionary measures. Then you have to do the proper assessment for the effect of groundwater in the soil. So if you study all these conditions, then you can construct a tunnel with a proper precautionary measures. So this is all about the tunnel. Thank you. So in exam also they may ask you any one case, or they may ask you a full question of 15 marks for on tunnels, okay, or in which you have to explain all the cases related to the construction of a tunnel. Thank you.